It's been a long time, y'all, but I'm back. It's been about 5 days, and I miss you guys so much. I want to apologize first before. I know I just did this in the last video, but I want to apologize for skipping a few days of uploading. I just want to let you guys in on a little bit. It's school plus work, can be a little bit much. I work 20 hours a week. On top of that, I have it's all my classes are college level classes right now, so things can get a little bit stressful, a little bit difficult. So sometimes I just don't have the time to record, and I do miss it a lot, and I want to record as much as I can, so I apologize for that, but I'm going to try my absolute best to record as much as I can every single day if I can. So we're going to go straight into it. Top 5 shooting guards in the NBA right now, like this year specifically, and I'll talk about their futures and their past, but we're going to go on this year specifically. So if you disagree, this year's shooting guard class has been really, really nice. So if you disagree, please leave it in the comments. I could definitely see where I can make some people mad in this. So we're going to start off at number 5, it was incredibly hard to rank this guy this low, but it was Jayson Brown, the Boston Celtics this year. 26 points on 51% from the field, pretty ridiculous shooting splits. 41% from 3, really, really nice. 5.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Obviously, we know what he does on the defensive side of the ball. His stats don't really show it, but he is a incredible defender. He has his 40-point games. Him and Jason Tatum just switch off, like who's going to take the lead tonight. And a lot of his plays are winning plays. So Jayson Brown has definitely been one of the best shooting guards in the league right now. I really, really hope he makes an All-Star game this year because he definitely deserves it. But like I said, this class is pretty ridiculous. I do hope he makes it, though. At number 4, I can see how some people would put Jayson Brown ahead of him. I just wouldn't. And that's Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine this year averaging 28 points on 52%. Again, ridiculous shooting splits. 43% from the field, from 3 at least. 5.5 rebounds and 5 assists. Obviously, the Bulls struggle. They don't have a ton around him, but Zach LaVine will get you a bucket. The problem is his clutch gene this year just hasn't been there. There's been a few times where they look to him in the last few minutes of the game to get him out, and they lose those games. They allow big comebacks, and that is a lot because he's not as strong of a leader. I'm not saying that he hasn't had clutch times. Obviously, I think it was last year against the Hornets. He had the most clutch sequence I've ever seen. But Zach LaVine's game hasn't really translated to wins. But 28 points a game on 52%. And 5 and 5. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And this guy needs to be an All-Star this year. He deserves it. Number 3, Paul George. He's classified as a shooting guard. That's what he's run the most this year. I know my classifications aren't great. I have Luka on this list, and he's like a point guard, but it feels wrong to put him in the point guard list. So, Paul George this year, 24.4, 51%, 48% from 3. And he's the 4th leading three-point maker this year, so he's ultra efficient. 6.5 and 5.5. 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists. And we know what he does on the defensive end, too. That duo on the wing is really, really deadly with Kawhi and Paul George, and his game is really translating to wins. I can see how some people put Zach LaVine ahead of him. He's basically just a Jayson Brown, except he's playing better. And they're winning games, and I think the Clippers are a real threat because of Paul George's level that he stepped up to, where he's going almost back to the MVP form we saw in OKC, where he was an MVP frontrunner, or top 3 at least. Now the question is, will he continue this into the playoffs? I don't know. It's going to be pretty difficult to sustain, especially his three-point shooting. But this team looks really, really dangerous when Paul George is playing as well as he is. Number 2, like I mentioned, Luka Doncic. I know you can make a case for him running the point guard most of this year, so I apologize. Just take it, out of order, whatever. But Luka Doncic this year, 28.5, 8.7 rebounds, 9.4 assists. He is an offensive machine. He's a machine. Averaging 28.5 on by far his least efficient year. He's shooting about 44% from the field, 33% from 3. Has not been his year so far. He's been really, really cold, especially from downtown. But when he gets back into his rhythm, and I don't know when that will be, but when he does, this is a dangerous, dangerous sight for the league. He's an MVP candidate right now. I wouldn't have him in my top 5, but he is a candidate. and he's like having a worse year than last year. He's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think you could list him lower than 3. Really, I don't think you could list him lower than 2, but I could see him at 3, I guess. But number 1, some people may hate me for this one because this team hasn't won a lot of games, but you cannot deny Bradley Beal. Number 1 is Bradley Beal. 33 points per game, 47% from the field. 5.1 assists, 4.5 rebounds. And his defensive game has stepped up so much. He's averaging over a steal, same with LaVine. Bradley Beal, although he's not been winning games, you gotta feel for the guy. He's putting up 60, 50 points, 40 points a night, and it's not doing anything, and it's not his fault. We know that it's not his fault, and that's why I put him at number 1. I think he's on a completely different level this year. He's S tier. He's got to be an all-star. If he's not an all-star in your book, what are you doing? That's the only one I'm not going to debate you on. If you say Bradley Beal's not an all-star, I don't know what you're doing. But, I mean, dude's just on a different level this year. I would love to have Bradley Beal on my team. He will lead your scoring on any team in the NBA right now. He's playing better than Harden, which is, I mean, the comparisons, we were talking about maybe Harden or Beal, who would fit better on the Brooklyn Nets. And I said Beal, and I feel like I might have been right. But I don't know. I mean, time will tell. If you notice, I did not have James Harden or Devin Booker on this list, and neither would Donovan Mitchell. Like I said, this is a very, very loaded shooting guard year. And I feel like some of those guys would take like the Zach LaVine spot, the Bradley Beal spot, the Jaylen Brown spot, but I couldn't put James Harden ahead with what he has been doing this year. He just hasn't been as good, and I think he's just trying to get in the flow with Brooklyn. Devin Booker has just been a kind of a shadow of himself with CP there. That's translating to more wins, but obviously this is an individual category. And Donovan Mitchell has been incredible this year. I think if Luka wasn't in there, he might be in there. But he just hasn't been taking as many shots. It's been a lot more Mike Conley. He's taken a lot more shots. I'm not saying that Donovan Mitchell isn't the number 1 on that team. I'm just saying like Mike Conley's taking a share, Gobert's taking a share, Ingles, Bojanovic. I think it's, they're winning games. Donovan Mitchell's obviously playing at an all-star level. I just don't think that he makes the top 5. Same thing with Harden and Booker. Not saying that those guys aren't all-star deserving or anything of that nature. I'm just saying this was my top 5 list. Leave yours down below. Who did I criminally underrate? Who did I criminally overrate? You let me know. It's good to be back. I hope I can continue to post. Just keep in mind that I do got a lot on my plate right now. And I would love to be posting daily or twice a day. Speaking of which, if this video hits 10 likes in the first 4 hours, I'll double upload tonight. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.